All right, let's get going on another video here. First, a few announcements, and before you guys comment on these bleach white legs that I got here, I got to start wearing some shorts because Lisa and I are gonna want to take off with my best friend Vince and make a trip to Cape Verde Islands here, October, November, or something like that. So, with this whiteness right here, I would be visible about 20 miles. If I get a little tan on there, maybe I can bring that down to at least 5 or 10 miles of visibility. I just don't want to stick out. All right. The second announcement that I want to make is, if you haven't noticed already, there is a troll, not just on my platform, but A-Bombs and a couple others, so I hear. I think we actually have a troll because there's comments made up about winning a prize, and there's a little bent wrist design into it. Okay, I don't think Adam or I would be doing something like that. So it's just another twist on trolling, and they hit us up here this last week. I have a couple guys that mail me their address and everything else, and I'll put a sticker or something in the thing, the mail for you. Thank you very much for everything. I mentioned something a while back that I do want to work on giving away tools, accessories, hats, or whatever during or after going through my comments. You'll know when it's me letting you know that you've won something. Okay, it's not going to be a random message. All right, we got our bearings in from Action Bearing, so I want to open those out. We're going to lay them out, and we're going to talk. I got at least pricing on the main spindle bearings that I can talk over with you, and the rest of them I'll know pricing when I get the bill on them. I haven't yet. And I did pull out the bearings out of the pulley, and we got those here. These are a couple Hoover bearings, and then this is the reverse gear that was down in the bottom, and there's a couple bearings that I haven't ordered yet. Also, we're going to be getting over, and we're going to start pulling the electrical off of Pearl, and we also got the new motor sitting right there on the floor in the box. I haven't opened it up yet. All right, so we're going to be doing that. Third comment, or third, I just want to start putting in the bug in your ears here, because throughout my whole career, I've been in repair or manufacturing anything that I'm doing. It's always been kind of on the taking away, removing material to make the component, except for when I do well build up or something. So I'm starting in the additives. I've already purchased a Ultimaker 5S Pro bundle, and I've been doing some printing already, and it hasn't been into my videos and stuff like that yet, but it will come into my videos because it's going to be related to the work here. Also, with this machine and the new technology that's coming up, I'm going to be printing metals here soon, and I want to bring you in on that. I also purchased a PL2 CAD S scanner so that I can scan components and things like that, and remaking the plates on the shift coordination and speeds and everything else on Pearl. We're going to be using that technology and kind of playing around with it. Also into printing lost wax castings. I've talked about it before, but I'm still heading in that direction. Also, I'm now currently, as of this last week, I've been talking about getting a water jet, and I'm going to be bringing in a water jet in here. And these are items that I have purchased, just like my plasma cam and everything else. So you're going to see them in the shop, and we're going to be using them in the shop for customers' work, and also my own restoring and rebuilding and things like that as well. All right, I have been hit up by anybody and everybody from LED lighting to you name it, spamware or computer programming or whatever. And I have had a couple things that I've taken in for reviews that were given to me, but I really have nipped that in the bud because my shop is really a working shop and got real projects, and it's relatable to what goes on in the real deal, and that's how I want to keep it. So we are going to have some new things in here, and you're going to see them in my videos, and that's what it's going to be. All right, Brian actually made a comment in there, and he said I should contact Monarch and pick up the literature for the CK Monarch of 1941. And so we got basically their operator's manual and everything else. Now this binder here and all the literature that's inside here duplicated everything that I got on Keith Rucker's site. Cost me 35 bucks. It goes back and forth, but majority of what Keith Rucker has on site is actually more clear than the actual printed photos that are reproductions that I got from the Monarch company. But some of the drawings on Keith's, the parts list and numbers are cut off on a couple pages, so it kind of like it goes back and forth. It is worth, at least it's got a binder, and even if I got key stuff here and I got fingerprints and everything else, and I have a hole punch and I can add in things and put in some notes and stuff like that, Brian. So I did pick it up. It's cool, but it really wasn't giving me any more than what's already on Keith Rucker's site. And I tell everybody to go there if they need to have any, if there's a chance that there's a machine drawing or whatever out there on the most common machines that we have of old air that we all use. More than likely Keith's site has got it backed up already, and you can just download it there. All right, so let's get some bearings out here. I haven't even pulled these out yet. I'm going to go ahead. I think this box here has got the main spindle bearings. I think that's all. The rest of that's just packing. All right. And I completely recovered this bench here, and I do use it for in and out work. I kind of keep it on down there, and then underneath here, my roller kits and stuff like that, I've put those in my container now, and I actually have everything laid out in nice neat fashion here for Pearl. And the other parts I started cleaning. We're going to start painting, and then as the components that we pull off are painted, those are going to go in the container for storage, and then they'll be, at least they're sitting there, nobody's going to knock them, you know, chip them or whatever. They'll be done, and they'll be ready to come back in and be installed. Okay, I brought you in a little closer here, and I wrote everything out so that I have the numbers and all the information as it's going. All right, so I'm going to take it that this is the cone and the cup for the big bearing. Okay, I'm not gonna. Okay, that's a Brower bearing. 6420 is what they gave us. 6420 is that bearing number there. And there's the cone, 6454, 6454. All right, the cone cost me $321.78. The cup was $108.35. Now we're coming for the rear spindle bearing. All right, and then this is a 522 number 3. 3 is the precision of the bearing, and this is the cone. And this is a Timken 529, and it's also signified with the 3. This is a highly precision bearing here. This cone cost me $533.39, and that race cost me $210. This bearing right here, if I didn't buy this particular bearing that I have in my hand, there would have been a 29-week wait. Okay, now I've had even some of the mechanics come around, and they're actually looking at these races and everything else, and most of them are going, put it in and run it. And I get that. But I also get I'm going through this thing myself, and I'm also going to want this thing to spin 3 times faster than it has been spinning for its whole life. Not that I think I'm going to spin everything really, really fast, but when I get down and I'm turning on something that's down under an inch in diameter, I do want to have those top end speeds. Hence my decision to go ahead and go with all new bearings. All right, I'll go ahead and I'll put these back in the boxes here in a bit. Let's go ahead and break out the other bearings and just make sure that we have everything in-house for them. And I kind of wanted to look and make sure, because two of the bearings that were out of the 8, there's 8 sets just for the 4 main shafts that we pulled out. Okay, and that box is empty. All right. So we had short intermediate shaft. It had a cone 2689, 2689, and it had a cup with a back flange, which was 2631. $2631B. Okay, this is a cup flange, and these are special. And I actually waited a week to get these before he sent the whole package here. So there was a little bit of a lead time on getting a couple of these, but they didn't have to be made. We didn't have to wait for manufacturing. And the reason why I got all these right now is because I'm going to tear this thing all the way down to parade rest, and when I come back and I want to put these things in, I want them in my hand already. All right, I don't want to be waiting for anything. when I go to come out and I work on it, I want to reach a certain point and I want it to be working and done. It's just one of those mental things. Okay, so we did the B and there. So there's intermediate shaft. That was the forward bearing set. The aft bearing is a 2689 again, and the cup is a 2631. All right, so there's the short intermediate shaft. Pulley shaft. Cone is 3188. All right, and the cup was the 3120B. 3120B. This is the other cup bearing. Nice. Or I should say flanged cup race. Before I put these back in the box, I'm going to mark each as what shaft they were, which end. All right. The aft pulley shaft bearing is 2720 right here, and the cup is 2720, and the cone is 2785. 2785 right there. Okay, and then we didn't get the drive shaft yet, and the other intermediate shaft is 3188 and 3120, and the cup 449 and 3. All right, one shaft, 2, 3, 4. Now our drive clutch has actually got some weird bearings, and these are Hoovers, and they actually got a raised portion on the inner race, and they actually went inside there face to face like that. The seals were popped out, the grease went in here, and then the shields were on either side. They still feel great and everything, but I've got a pair of them coming. When Bill was pricing these out with his suppliers, he got me these for 40 bucks each. But one supplier wanted $110 a piece. And he goes, "You know how rare those are?" Also, when I pulled this off, this is the output shaft. Okay, so you got the pulleys out here, and then this goes inside the. So this is the output or the drive shaft right behind the pulley. This is a lip seal. I said it was a lip seal, but it's also a a leather lip seal, not a regular rubber lip seal. And Victor and a good number here. So Bill will be searching for that as well. Whether we actually can find a leather one, or if we'll go with a more modern seal. All right, don't let the box fool you. Okay, there's the new motor. It's going to take place of that beast right in there. Little size difference. That shaft in there is about 1 1/4, the 1 1/8 on the shaft here. But it's going to be a lot more room inside there to adjust belts and all that good stuff in there, and have a little bit more airflow around the motor. Hey, I'm just trying to think of where I put my little letter labels so that I could label this wiring as I take it apart. We found our wire markers. They were in our electrical bag, and it's funny because I went right to it this time, because I actually had a search in that container I have outside. You start searching in a 40-foot container for wire markers. You make sure that you get them into your electrical bag so you know where they're at. Ever since John and I built the controller on the X car, I've had them, and I went ahead and the disconnect box, I've already brought that, took that out, and I cut the wires down at the motor connection down there and pulled that lead out. These went over to the shut-off box, and then these just went up to lines 1, 2, and 3, and so they're ready to come out. These were the ones that come over from the switch, and I looked inside here and they're well marked. Of course, this one lead here goes to line 1, so it tags in where line 1 comes in. The other ones have got just straight numbers. This is 2, it was over here, and 1 went around and came over to there, and then 3 and 4 have their terminals over there. And they had to go in specific orders because they're also triggering the coils, which direction you're going to go. Alright, so we're ready to drop these wires out, and then we can pull the magnetic starter right off of here. And then we're going to head over to the other side and we'll pull off the switch, and this we're going to leave this lead all together, I think, on that for right now. If it's not possible, then we will take and disconnect all the wiring and mark them with our legs just the same as this. After that, we're going to be ready to kind of scoot things out of the way here, and we're going to slide that big dog out of there and put it next to our new motor there, and just get a good laugh, I guess. All right. Leaving them whole also will let me create matching links when I go to rewire this thing, because this is all going to be all new wiring. Okay, I think we started to pull this apart, and we'd rather have it on the bench so we're not like bent over. We're gonna take the shortcut, and we're gonna pull those 2 screws out. And we're gonna just drop the whole box right off the side there. And about 3/8 of an inch of paint on there. And as fast as that came out, I better hang on to this. There we go. Okay. We decided to drop the lead with the whole switch, and that way we can go ahead and bench test these wires, trace these wires, and take a good look at this, kind of decide what we want to do with this face cover, and kind of plan all of that out, and kind of quicken the process to get to where we want to be, and that's pulling the big motor out. Alright, I'm getting down to pulling the 4 bolts. I can reach in here, reach in the back, and there's openings on both sides for front and back on that one there. And I'm going, how am I going to get here? And I just realized that there's a cover here, so I needle gunned off the top here, and I'm going to have to just get the paint out of the slots there. Being a little stubborn there. Let's see. All right. Yeah, I can see it right there. I might be able to get down there with extension and probably a universal or a swivel. Cool. Get some tools here. See what size it is. It looks like 3/4. Yeah, sometimes you wonder if that's a good sign, but hey, who knows? Let's see. Damn, I know if I stick my arm down in there. Okay, the one that I thought was going to be the hardest is out. For some reason, I think there's a nut all the way on the other side of the plate there. I don't know if they were tapped into that plate, the way it kind of felt. Oh, anyhow, all right, I can get to this front one here, I think, through this opening right here. That one's a little tighter. Now I can get my hand. Okay. I'm gonna have to get down here on my hands and knees here. Okay. I don't know. Sure feels weird. It feels like a nut. Maybe it's in a retainer. Maybe it's in like a T-slot or something. Hard to say. All right, let's go to the other side. I got the table moved out of here, and everything's pretty well cleaned up. I'm getting some grease globs there. I might have to do that. All right, all 4 bolts are pulled out of here. And I'm going to use this. This is a good machine surface right here. that pulley is 1 inch back from this surface right here. All right, because when I get ready to put that other motor in there, I need to set it in here, and I need to know where it's at. The plate adjusts up and down. Just for general reference here, center line off of that there is about 8 inches right now. I don't know where I'm fully up or fully down. I don't know where I'm at in this adjustment here. And also there's other parts of adjustment for that plate to go up and down within its mounting itself. All right, so I'll jot that down right now. 8 up from here, 1 inch in from here. All right, I don't know what we're actually going to need as far as sliding that out of there, but I think I'm ready. I got my gloves. I'm just going to grab the pulley here. We're going to see if we can slide it on out of here. Hey, we might have to slide that pecker, or undo that pecker head right off of there to get this thing out of here. Or yeah, it's hitting the adjustment on that side there. Yeah, there's no way. I'm gonna have to pull the pecker head off. Couple screws. We'll have that off of there. Is that 60 years of advancement or 60 years of reduction? Oh. Whew. Okay, there's grease fittings on those bearings, okay? Of course, that access is to get to there, but it was pretty hard. I know that had, and I had to dig the paint out of everything there. A lot of mouse acorns probably inside here. There's a lot of them that fell out. This thing just coming out of there. All right, I'm gonna move that one out of the way, and I'm gonna slide this one in here, and we're gonna see how it mounts or sits on that plate. All right, so I'm going to sweep that off a little bit. A little room for air now. Okay, we got it swept out there, and let's see, we're gonna have to pull it this way just a little bit. Okay, that's pretty close to the 1 inch, and the feet are right at the edge of the plate. We're about 5.5 up from there, so we got 2.5 inches that we can space it up. I'm looking at the bolt pattern either way, so it is, I think it's, I didn't really take a measurement this way, but that I believe is center of the holes, and I'm kind of like center of the hole pattern here as well. All right, a lot more air around there, huh? All right, and the chipmunks or critters leavings there, probably all kinds of it fell out of that motor in there, so that thing was pretty well caked up. All right, this is where I wanted to get to for this episode. Until next time, get her done.